Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Brave Podcast. My name is Chanel, and how are you guys doing today? After discussing several rare syndromes, we are looking at eating disorder today. An eating disorder is a behavior condition where patients have severe and persistent disturbances in eating behaviors and associated distressing thoughts and emotions. Eating disorder have been existed for a very long time. By long, I mean really, really long. Historical descriptions of eating disorder existed from the time of Caesar in 700 BC, where the riches would fill themselves at lavish banquets, then huge, so they can return to the feast. Traveling a little bit later, women would start to starve themselves, believing that their desire for food was sinful. Weird, right? People with eating disorders have a variety of symptoms. Common symptoms may be severe restrictions on food beings, and purging behaviors like vomiting or over-exercising. Some mental health and behavior signs may include dramatic weight loss, concern about eating in public, food over-occupying with weight, food, calories, fat grants, or dieting, making excuses to avoid mealtime, intense fear of weight gain or being overweighted, dressing in layers to hide weight loss or stay warm, missing periods, patterns of being or eating or puking. Some physical symptoms may be dizziness, fainting, feeling cold all the time, sleeping irregularly, dark skin, dry, thin nails, thinning hair, poor wound healing. In 1970s, cases of different eating disorder began to increase in the decade. Many experts believe that many factors contribute to the increase. One factor may be genetics. People with a sibling or parents with an eating disorder are at increased risk of developing the condition. People with traits such as neuroticism, perfectionism, and impulsivity might also be the factor that might develop an eating disorder. Other potential causes for eating disorder may be perceived pressure to be thin. Researchers also propose that the difference in brain structures and biology may also play a part in the development of eating disorder, where the brain's message chemicals serotonin and dopamine may be a factor. There are 6 types of eating disorder. The first type of eating disorder is anorexia. Anorexia is the most well-known eating disorder. It generally develops during young adulthood and tends to be affected more to women than men. Patients often view themselves as overweight. Even though they are dangerously underweight, they tend to constantly monitor their weight to avoid eating certain foods and severely restrict their calorie intake. Some common symptoms of this condition may include very restricted eating pattern, intense fear of gaining weight, persistent behaviors to avoid gaining weight despite being underweight, and a heavily influence of the body weight or perceived body shape on self-esteem. The second type of eating disorder is bulimia nervosa. Just like our first type of eating disorder, bulimia is also well known. It also tends to develop during adolescence and early adulthood. It also appears to be more common in women. Unlike our first eating disorder, patients with bulimia tend to eat enormous amount of food in a period of time. Patients often eat continuously until the person becomes painfully full. During a binge, patients usually feel that they cannot stop eating or control how much they are eating. Binges can happen with any food, but most commonly occur in food that the individual usually avoids. Some common symptoms might be self-esteem overly influenced by body shape and weight. And patients often have a fear of gaining weight despite having a typical weight. The third eating disorder is a binge eating disorder, one of adolescents' most common illnesses. The condition begins during adolescence and early adulthood, but can develop later. People with binge eating disorder does not restrict calories or perk behaviors like vomiting and compensative for their binge. Common syndromes of binge eating disorder include eating large amounts of food rapidly in secret and until uncomfortably full, despite not feeling hungry, feeling a lack of control during episodes of binge eating, feelings of distress such as shame, disgust, or guilt when thinking about binge eating behavior. The fourth type of eating disorder is pica, where patients eat things that are not considered food and do not provide nutritious value. Patients with pica carve non-food substances such as ice, dirt, soil, chalk, soap, paper, hair, cloth, wool, and pebbles, or even laundry detergent. Picas can occur in adults, children, and adolescents. Individuals with pica may be at increased risk of poisoning, infections, and gut injury. It is most frequently seen in individuals with conditions that affect daily functioning, including intellectual developmental conditions, and mental health conditions. The fifth eating disorder is numeration disorder. This is a newly recognized eating condition. Patients with this condition would regurgitate food that they have previously chewed and swallowed, reveal it, and then eat it or spit it out. This disorder can develop during infancy, childhood, or adulthood. In infants, it grows between 3 to 12 months of age and often disappears independently. Child and adults with this condition usually require therapy to resolve. If not resolved in infants, renumeration disorder can result in weight loss and severe malnutrition that can be fatal. Adults with this condition may be restricted the amount of food they eat, especially in public. This may also lead them to weight loss and become underweight. The last eating disorder is restrictive food intake disorder. This is a new name for an old disorder. The term has been replaced feeding disorder of infancy and early childhood, a diagnostic previously reserved for child under age of 7. Individuals with this disorder experience disturbed eating due to the lack of interest in eating or distaste for some kind of smell, taste, color, texture, or temperatures. Some common symptoms of ARFID includes eating habits that interfere with typical social functions, such as eating with others, weight loss, or poor development for age and height. Now, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to today's BRAVES'S Podcast. If you need any help, our staff is always here to listen. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Bye!